I promised an announcement today, and that's what I'm going to be doing right now. Rather than put down a bunch of notes or just ramble on, I thought I would actually just read the letter that's going to be coming home to you and your parents. I hope maybe there's some parents along with this today, but you will be getting this letter. And so I'm just going to go ahead and read it. So here we go. First off, let me say that I'd much rather be doing what we're supposed to be doing at this time, enjoying our week of outdoor education at Camp Announcmt. It's been a tough few days for me, the sixth grade staff, the high school counselors, the super counselors, the staff counselors, and I would think all of you. Having our week at camp canceled was devastating, but I hope that the message that I'm about to deliver will bring a glimmer of hope to all. I want to begin with a statement that you'll probably hear me say 3 or 4 times in this memo, because it is that important, and that is, what I'm about to tell you is not in any way official. In no way, shape, or form is it official. At this point in time, it's only a scenario that I'm in the process of investigating. The process began about 4 weeks ago when I started looking at possible ways for us to still be able to experience Camp Announcmt. Several options were explored: going to camp in the summer, going to camp in the fall, spending a weekend at camp, going in the early spring, and going in the late spring. Pros and cons were weighed in every option. I wanted to choose the option that would impact the least number of people and still be best for you. It actually ended up being a pretty easy choice, everything considered. After making the decision on which option would be best, I started approaching the many groups who would be involved: our administrators, the 6th grade staff, the 7th grade staff, high school counselors, super counselors, staff counselors, camp personnel, and now you. To this point, input from everybody has been about 95% positive, although I haven't heard from 100% of the people yet. By now, you're probably saying, okay, let's just get on with it. So I will. Again, now this is the second time I'm going to say this. This is only a possibility at this point. The scenario that I'm researching would have your class coming up to camp next year on Friday, May 14th. That's the day the 6th graders come home, next year's 6th graders. And you would be staying through Monday, May 17th. Friday would follow a Monday schedule, Saturday would follow a Tuesday schedule, Sunday would follow a Wednesday schedule with an optional Vesper service in the morning, and Monday would follow a Thursday schedule. Parents' night would be on Monday night, and then we would ask parents to take the kids home at the conclusion. We would have a bus for any students who had parents who were unable to attend. Obviously, tons of details would have to be ironed out, but we are all very excited about this scenario and committed to making it work. At some point, I will conclude my investigation and we will determine whether this option is feasible. If we believe that it is, I will make a presentation to the administration and Board of Education. When this will be, I have no idea. Don't expect it to be real soon. They certainly have other things occupying their minds at the current time. Parents, I would like some input from you on this proposal. Please send me some sort of reply, either by mail, it's lweshy@napoleonareaschools.org, and this will be in your letter, or a text, 419-966-2969, or you can let your homeroom teachers know of your thoughts. Feel free to call, text, or email me with any questions that you have. I'm sure that there will be abundance of them, which I certainly understand. Keep in mind that this trip is already funded. There's not going to be another fundraiser in the fall for the kids. Granted, many families still owe their balance, which in most cases was $35, and that would still have to be paid. If you were already paid this balance, we will not be refunding it at this time as we said we would. We'll just hold it until a final decision was made, and if this all works out, of course, you would be paid up. To summarize, remember, this scenario is in the investigative mode. That's the third time I've said this. There are many, many hoops that we'll need to jump through before this becomes a reality. Parents, if you're listening, please make sure that your kids know and understand this. This ended up being a little longer than I wanted, but I wanted to share as much with you without swamping you with too many details. I will make sure that I update you occasionally to indicate the direction that the research is taking me. Thanks a lot for your time, Mr. Weshy. So how do we handle this now?
So students, if you heard, we are going to try to get you guys up to camp next year. As soon as the sixth graders of next year come home on that Friday, you would go up Friday, spend Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night up at camp and come home on Monday. This is, like Mr. Weshy said, it's not a final decision. We don't have the go-ahead, but that's the plan that we're trying to figure out right now. We're hoping that it works out. We want you to be hopeful and think forward that we will be going to camp and experiencing some of those things. Someone said camp t-shirts. If we go to camp next year, you'll get your shirt next year so that you can wear it to camp. So you will not be getting a shirt right now. You will get it hopefully when you go to camp. There's a sneak peek. Back up.
There's a sneak peek of the of your cover. This is the handbook cover and t-shirt design. And if you go next year, you will get this shirt. This will be on your handbook. I basically have your handbooks done already. Have to change them a little bit, but we're very excited about this. But again, we wanted to give you a glimmer of hope, but yet we don't want everybody running out and saying, hey, we're going to camp next year for sure. There's no doubt about it. We don't want that yet. You're going to get me in big trouble if you do that. So don't do that. But we wanted to give you hope. And if there's any way that we can make it work out, we certainly will. And I think you need to appreciate all the people that are behind this, that are willing to do this, to make this work. It's a big sacrifice on the part of many people that they even consider doing this. So I certainly appreciate it, and I hope you all do. And again, we'll keep you up to date. Any other questions that anybody had?
Mr. Weshy, they said, when do the sixth graders come back next year? So what date did you say they would go up?
Well, I hope I got the right dates. It's May 10th to 14th next year, right?
That's when they would go up?
They would go, actually next year's sixth graders, they would not be affected in any way whatsoever. They would go up when they normally go up. They would go home when they normally come home. On Friday for a few hours, you would all be up there together, but you would not cross paths while the sixth graders, next year's sixth graders would be doing field day and their closing ceremony. You would be on your initiation hike and your picnic lunch. So you would not cross paths, but you would be up there at the same time for about probably 3 hours or so. We would probably split up counselors, so we had plenty of counselors with both groups. And then the sixth graders would go home at their normal time. They would be back home at 2:15. And we wanted to make sure that this did not impact next year's sixth grade in any way whatsoever. We wanted them to have their full week. So basically,
do you want me to keep going through questions?
Yeah.
Okay, someone said, if we don't go to camp, will we still get our shirts?
We'll certainly do something. Yes, no doubt about that. You'll get shirts, but let's be optimistic. I want you to, I don't want you necessarily to put it on the calendar now, but yet if mom and dad said, hey, we're going on a vacation next year on May 15th, you might want to say, oh, let's hold up on that first, So I don't want it on the calendar yet, but yet we want you to know that it's a possibility.
Would the camp committee get to go a day earlier like normal?
Well, that's an issue that we haven't worked out yet. And it's a good question. And we've talked about doing something with them. Obviously, we couldn't go up the night before like we usually do, but we will figure something out for the camp committee to go up there and spend that extra day that they normally get to spend for all the hard work that they've done.
Would the sixth grade teachers be with us, or would the seventh grade teachers?
Another good question. For the most part, it would be your sixth grade teachers as of now. There may be some substitutions here and there. That's going to be a long, long 9 days for us, some of us old people. But and we may let the teachers come home at night. But we've got lots of people who are willing to help out. We even have a couple seventh grade teachers who have said they would be glad to come up. But for the most part, it's going to be this year's sixth grade teachers running the whole show. Counselors, um, the counselors I've contacted so far, most of them have said they're all for it. They're in for the 9 days as long as their schedule will allow it. And again, we may have to pick 2 waves of counselors. And again, I don't want to go into too much detail today because there's just so many things that have to be worked out, but it'll be worked out.
Somebody asked if we're going for the full week, and we already explained that. You will not go for the full 5 days. You'll go Friday, Saturday, Sunday night, and come home Monday. So that's 3 nights, 4 days. Will the committee members be the same?
Well, yeah, committee members aren't going to change. We're not choosing a new committee next year. Basically, all the plans, all your stuff, 80% of your work, maybe more, for camp next year is done. I put your handbooks together. Obviously, still a lot of things, health forms and all that stuff, but nothing is really going to change. Committee members won't change. And we talked about, Mrs. Bird talked about the 4 days instead of 5. Really, the only thing you're going to be missing is field day, and you could possibly do that back here. We'll still have parents' night. We'll still have a closing ceremony. Our parents' night might be a little bit later than usual, but the only thing you'll really be missing is Friday and field day.
Would the high school counselors be with the 6th graders? Yes, you would have high school counselors and super counselors, and many people are saying cabin buddies. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Cabins are already decided. We have that information already. It's in your handbook, but you won't know that until we know for sure if we're going to camp. Parents do not go to camp until parents' night. Go ahead.
Now, I've had many parents, bless their heart, wanted to see something happen for the kids. They were worried about us not being able to do it, and they volunteered to help. And if we really, really got in a pinch, I've told a couple of them, maybe we would come to them, but we've generally, over the years, not used parents. We've had, because you don't know where to cut it off, and we've got plenty of counselors. We've got plenty of super counselors, and I think we're going to be in great shape.
What happens to the money? Mr. West, you said that if we go to camp and you already paid your $35 or your fee, then you're free to go to camp next year. If something happens and we end up not going to camp, then you will get your money refunded. But we're not going to cross that bridge until later on, once we know we can or cannot go.
Yeah, we're in good shape money-wise. All the money's there. So we don't have to do another fundraiser for heaven bid. Or, we've got the 6th grade that has to do theirs next year, but you guys are all set. You're in good shape.
If students have not paid yet, they're asking if they should pay.
No, not yet. Because if this does fall through, then they're not going to pay. So if they've not paid yet, hold off until we find out. And like I said, probably about 25% had made their payments of either $35 or in some cases $140. But those people, I had said there would be a refund coming, but since we're in this mode now, we're just going to hold off on that. And if you've paid, you'll be good to go next year. You won't owe a penny.